All right, yo, what up? We're back with another Cocoa Thoughts. Uh, well, didn't really do very much. I bought like in between episodes. I just watched anime and um watched a lot of Atomic Heart because that was like it was a pretty good game. So I'm just gonna jump into that. Atomic Heart was it's not that bad of a game. Like if they just not really that it's not really bad, but it needs well it didn't really I don't know. It just really needed to change the dialogue a little bit. Change the dialogue and maybe like change the ending of the story. And it would be like a 10 out of 10 experience. Because they nailed the visuals. It is visually appealing. Everything. Like the robots within the game, the character visuals, the weapons, like somewhat. Although like some of the weapons are like kind of unusable to begin with, like the AK, unless you like upgrade it. I'm sure it's kind of useless at when you get it. To be honest, I think when you start out in the game, you should have the access to the AK and the pistol immediately, and then you can unlock the shotgun, which I think the shotgun is probably going to be the weapon that people gravitate towards. But visuals beautiful. The reload animation changes like a little bit, so that's a cool touch. Um, the music is pretty good. The most memorable music, at least for me, is the upgrading booth. I think it's very good, and also the upgrading booth is like very funny. I didn't really expect it. It gets like a little bit repetitive over time, but just the upgrade booth just trying to screw with the main character is pretty good. And considering the ending, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the upgrade booth should be its own ending, considering what happens. Um, the combat is a little bit iffy. Um, I don't know. Like I know the you have like the base and the base robot, which is just like it's it's just white. I don't know the name of it specifically. And they have a version that's black, which is stronger. I feel like they could have done more with the enemies because that kind of got old as soon as you hit the I don't even know what you call it, like a mini gondola. I don't know whatever you like sit in like a little pod thing and it just goes like very fast throughout the facility that the main character's at. I've already freaking forgot the dude's name, but I suck with names in general. But I mean, the game is really good. It's like 6 out of 10, which is like pretty reasonable. I don't really expect too many games to hit above a 4 or 5, to be honest, with how much you're spending on games now. I'm pretty sure Atomic Heart is definitely like a $60 game easily. Let me check. Let me Google it. I'm pretty sure it's a $60 game. All right, rating it 9 out of 10 is like a little bit too much. They should get a penalty. Okay, yeah, it's $60 game. It's pretty good for being $60, I guess. You could definitely get like some work out of that. I don't know if there's any side quests though. To be honest, they could maybe pull off DLC, but to be honest, it's probably too straightforward that there's not very much room for exploration. I think it's a little bit like too linear. I don't know if you could teleport to places. I don't think there's any fast travel available. But I probably just didn't see it. Also, the character said crispy critters a little bit too much. It's like a reference to something very old timey. Like I'm pretty sure it's a cereal. He said that way too much. It almost, at least for me, it got to the point where it's like kind of funny, but it was like a painful funny. Like you have to kind of like laugh at it. But yeah, overall, freaking, I think it's 6 out of 10, maybe almost 7. Um, I've also been monitoring the Dark and Darker subreddit because it's very funny. The people, they literally don't get a game for a month, and they're all just like, they're just schizophrenic about it. They just keep posting like random memes of like people waiting. I forget the. I think it's like Mr. Beans in like the middle of like a sun field and stuff like that. I mean, it was like a good game. I don't know. I feel like everybody who plays Dark and Darker is older than I think. I'm thinking I'm thinking like they're maybe mid 20s, maybe. But I feel like all of them are like 30 plus because of how honed they are on this game, and also the other games that the people play. I'm pretty sure one of the games was Company of Heroes or Age of Empires, and I feel like those are kind of age the gamer games, or they just really like RTS. I don't know, but it's just very funny. And also, it's nice to see some of like the character ideas because it would be very cool to have like a bard or a sorcerer who's just a straight up glass cannon but has like very strong spells. But they could probably just do subclasses if they wanted to. And also, bards would be kind of useless in that game from one of the Redditors' ideas because it would kind of be like a freaking Lucio from Overwatch, and it doesn't really work too well unless the healing rate is like slightly faster than Sanctuary that the cleric has, which does a AoE heal and AoE damage. I don't know. It would have to provide like a decent amount of buffs because it would be a very buff centric class with maybe like access like a rapier or a dagger like a rogue. Like the bard would have to have the capability of at least some self defense, and it would have to have really good like AoE buffs that are almost like somewhat better than a cleric, and also like on par with a cleric healing. And also a druid would be very cool too, but it would be such a mess to balance around. You'd probably have to limit their forms probably to a campfire, and then every time you use a form, you lose a charge, and the charge probably takes like a blue campfire to fully get back. I don't know, but I'm sure if they took the time to implement it, it'd be very cool to have like a druid or a bard, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know. Apparently, it's that time of year too for streamers and stuff to go to freaking Japan, and I feel like just reading so much freaking manga or just like watching anime itself, I feel like it's kind of like brainwashing people. I'm not really brainwashing people, but just like it brainwashes me at least. It's like really wanting to go there. I don't know. I just feel like they have like a better qual. I don't even. They have like better quality of life, but living is difficult. But I mean, like, what where is living easy? Really, it's not really easy anywhere. I mean, at least with like some of the videos they can just like watch on the internet about some of like the bosses like cleaning the toilets or doing the workers' jobs. I mean, that I don't know. You don't really get that here very much. But also, just like everything over there is just so clean. But at least for me, like every time I freaking leave my apartment, I immediately am greeted by freaking geese and random ducks that live in a nearby pond that always come to my front door to feed on the seed that's on the ground. And then I have my freaking the neighbor below me who freaking smokes constantly, and he smokes like every 45 minutes. So whenever it's like nice and warm outside and I open up my window, I just get greeted with freaking smoke. So I don't know. Maybe I think it's better because I'm living like a slightly worse condition. I don't know. I kind of just want to like go over there, maybe for like 2 weeks. But it's kind of weird because every time you, not really every time, but all the scheduled flights are available only through October, like October, November, April, May, and February. Yeah, it's super weird. Uh, Also, trains. I freaking love the trains. I, I just wish America could have freaking trains. I don't see why not. But I mean, we do have trains, and they, uh, just looking at the news, it doesn't really look that safe. I wonder how many derailments Japan has for their trains. I don't know. Also, the freaking stores out in Japan too, how they're freaking nicely layered, and they tell you where everything is. It's super cool. Oddly enough, they sell alcohol with their electronics. I don't know. And a funny thing too, I don't know who decided this, but like I feel like every nation, because I went to Germany and Japan, like every place always has English as a second language, and I feel so freaking spoiled as an American having that because I don't have to learn the native language or even like try to understand it because everything's just you have the native language and you have the English translation right below it usually. It's such a spoil. And also they have after the Japanese announcer, you have the English announcer. It's just so useful. And I wonder if it's just like a tourist accommodation or they have like a lot of I don't know, American immigrants maybe. but I don't know how many. I don't know how many it would be. I'm sure there's a lot of jokes that could be made too about apparently like the birth rate in Japan and like fertility is declining. That Americans like want to go over there, and I don't know. I don't think that's a very smart thing. I don't think that would really fix anything for them. Considering they'd probably just turn into neats over there if they're neats in the U.S., which like most of them are. I would assume that would want to go to Japan because they just consume so much like anime content. Although like one thing like Japan has that's like really good that Americans started copying it, those freaking, well, not really just Americans, but everybody started copying it, is freaking VTubers. Because my God, if you search up VTubers, I swear you can find so many different random varieties of VTubers. I don't know. Not too interested in it. I watch like well, I didn't really watch. I used to watch like some compilations, and I'm just like kind of bored of it because I think VTubers are a little bit too much, or they're not enough. Because I feel like you have, I don't know, some of them they kind of just like watch React videos constantly, and it doesn't really do it for me. I don't understand React content too much. Like maybe if it's a video that you haven't seen, but I feel like if you're watching React content, you're probably gonna watch somebody react to the same video multiple times because I think it's like probably one of the most popping things, and also it's because of freaking people being isolated. Because there's another VTuber that I watched who was reviewing setups of their viewers, and the dude was on like a tiled porch, and the tiled porch was just like covered in fast food bags, uh, pee bottles, and just everything that's just so rancid. And I'm just amazed. I'm glad that I'm not a freaking neckbeard. I clean up after myself. Although I do also eat at my desk, which is probably like the worst thing that I do. But usually every time like I don't know, around 11 or 12 whenever I stop sitting at my computer, 11 12 p.m. uh I will like clean up my desk though. Get rid of all the get rid of like the one cup that I'm reusing cuz I just drink juice, so I can just like use the same cup and just it doesn't really change the taste that much. And I kind of mix anyways whenever I drink alcohol, so it doesn't really change the taste very much. I don't know. I feel like consume just after consuming so much freaking. I don't know. I'm just about to back to manga again. I want to go to Japan a little bit. I wonder if they feel the same way. I wonder if they like consume American comics or something, and they decide that they want to come here to America. I mean, the most thing I think that gets people to travel international. Well, I think it's internationally. Is basically just food. I don't know, just like food is probably like, at least for me, is like the main thing to look for whenever visiting a place. But I don't know. Apparently chili is like a big thing because it. I saw a like a South Korean family eat what is it, chili, and the dude was like very happy about it. He was eating his like traditional foods with it. I don't know. I kind of feel like it was like a little bit scripted because the dude said bussin, but it, I don't know. I think it was like mostly like a genuine reaction. But yeah, freaking food in general is probably like the main reason why people travel. I don't know. But yeah, but like besides food though, like what does America have? Like the only places, because America is so freaking large, the only places that I can imagine people actually wanting to travel to is like LA maybe, but I don't really know what they go see in LA besides like the theme parks. They probably transfer here for our colleges and universities maybe. Uh, they probably travel to New York maybe. Never mind. They do probably travel to New York. They might travel to Florida. I don't really think so. I don't think they travel to Florida for like Disney World or something, but maybe they do. I'd assume probably. And I don't know. I think I can only think like three cities that they maybe want to travel to see. And to be honest, that's probably all like America really has. I mean, who's gonna travel to like Michigan or Tennessee, uh, Louisiana? Besides like whenever they do like the whole Mardi Gras thing, um, I don't know what other state you got. Freaking North Dakota, South Dakota, uh, Maine, Nebraska. Like who's visiting any of that? Ohio? Who? No one. They're probably just going to California and New York. Maybe. Just maybe for New York though. They definitely go to California. California is like it's probably the probably has like a decent population there because they do have like tiny little districts. So maybe they feel like they have like a little bit of like a home away from home in California, like a little bit. But then they also have to deal with the ugly traffic that they have out there. Yeah, I don't know. Also, another an interesting thing too about Japan is that they're influenced by freaking. Well, I mean, they're kind of like obviously influenced by American architecture a little bit. They do unfortunately have in their nice housing areas ugly freaking parking lots. And I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't have that. And maybe like a bike lot, but not parking lots because parking lots are such a waste of space on that small amount of land that they have. And to be honest, like if it, I don't know, if Japan gets freaking flooded or something and just like goes underwater, I wonder if we could just give them like the middle of the U.S. Just give them. Yeah, let me just carve out some states that nobody really cares about. Let me see. Just give them. Let's see here. Here, Japanese people. They can have. I want to landlock them, but let's give Japan, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Because unfortunately, I can't give them. If I were to like be able to do this, give them freaking Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island and Connecticut. I just want them to have some way to be connected to the water. I don't know. Mostly because just like every time I freaking watch an anime, they always say umi or something. Just something related to the water. Like in the Tomo-chan can't communicate. There was a beach thing, and they were talking about the water. So I don't know. This needs some connection to the water. I feel, considering fishing is probably like the biggest thing that they have there, next to the wagyu farming their cows. But considering they mentioned anime, might as well go into summertime rendering. Summertime rendering, it's pretty much like what is it, ReZero, right? Yeah, kind of like ReZero. I mean, it's better, I think. But also, ReZero is like really old at this point, and it's another freaking wild thing. All right, hold on, let me just search on the site real quick. I want to see when it first came out. I mean, anime just really dates how freaking old I am because I watched so much of it when I was growing up. Let me see. That's not 2019. All these are freaking incorrect. I literally look up ReZero and I can't find just the show itself. I find like a movie instead. How specific do I have to be? All right, Subaru. My God, you get freaking Isekai Quartet just everywhere. And I don't know the name of the main show. Okay, there it is. 2016. God, that is nearly a decade ago. We're 3 years off a decade old show. Man, I hate time. I'm gonna be freaking 30 consuming manga and all the stuff that I consumed years ago. It is not even like completed yet because of like a hiatus or something, or the artist is doing like multiple manga at the same time. I don't know. But anyways, freaking summertime rendering, pretty good. The intro of it, it's kind of funny. The dude just kind of. Oh, let me just find the names. Uh, Shinpei immediately going to find her name. Hizuru immediately. Really funny. It's going right into her freaking chest. And see, you got Mio. Mio's funny. Immediately crashing into the ocean. The camera flashing is cool too because it kind of you didn't really understand it at first. You thought people were just like taking pictures of the main character, but it actually proved to be not a good thing because that's how the shadows basically can copy you and mimic you. And also I didn't really expect it but for the guns in the show is like really good. Like just at the end of the first episode, Shinpei and Mio getting shot within the forest, and also Mizuru. Wait, no, not Mizuru. What's it again? Hizuru getting shot in the freaking forest. That was really good. And it's kind of good that the character immediately like got a grasp of like what was going on. And it's also interesting too that the he's aware of the saves. And it's also interesting too that later on, well, no, I'm skipping too much. So then after the first episode, he like immediately starts to try to capture the other shadows like while they're going around and like try to mess with their plans, like telling the police officer to go somewhere else like late at night whenever the shadow Mio was investigating the house or just like watching the house. I think that was pretty good. um what else is there? The hunter is a cool dude. I wish the main character would have interacted with the hunter earlier, because he only talked to him like once, and then it's kind of just like brushed off. Because I feel like he would know the most about the shadows next to Hizuru. The inn dude is very the inn scene is very funny where the innkeeper doesn't understand who what's the name again? Freaking Shinpei is talking about, and he just mentions big breast, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about." That was pretty funny. Um, I don't know, I'm just glad that the main character isn't too stupid for the show. I'm pretty sure ReZero the ReZero MC kind of like irritated me because I just don't feel like he was learning as fast as Shinpei. Oh no. Just moving on to the other episode. I feel like over time though, if they did like force Shinpei just to have like infinite restarts, he would kind of deviate too much from the I don't know, like the main reaction well, not the main reaction, but like the normal reactions that he would have to the hearing the information like for the first time, like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna butcher this name again. Well, not again, but Ushio getting drowned at sea. It he's probably just gonna like kind of fake it, and I feel like that'd be interesting to see the author kind of navigate that. But I'm glad they didn't, and they kind of gave the dude safe points whenever he actually does like the correct thing. So that's pretty good. Um, and then they apparently they decide to not search for the Shadow Mio within the ruined military base. So they decided to go to a festival instead the next day. And what they did with the festival is so good. So Shinpei is going to the festival with freaking Miu, So, and Tokiko. And Shinpei gets a glance of Ushio at the festival, but it's a shadow version of her. But that's like I feel like it's like a very key point because there she actually seemed to do damage to the shadow next to Hizuru, who can freaking just blast their brains out with the shotgun. And of course, Shinpei can't really do anything. But just those two, I feel like combined, if he's able to use it properly, can easily become the key. And then you get freaking Genjiro, who most definitely has like a more of an arsenal for Hizuru to freaking go all out. I feel like it would be super good, but I'm only like 5 episodes in, so I don't really know what's planned yet. And apparently, the manga itself has like 137 episodes, and I'm really hoping that they cover it all in these 25 perfectly, and they don't rush it too much. But I don't know. But I mean, it's pretty freaking good so far. And I don't want to read more of the freaking episode titles because I feel like that's gonna spoil me. Also, another thing too with the festival, it was it's kind of interesting for the shadows to immediately learn that he has the ability to reset, and I'm wondering if since they copied him at the festival, if that's going to transfer to the other shadows the next time he resets. And I don't know, I'll just have to figure that out. And also, it was very interesting too, and a very nice twist that uh, they didn't show Shinpei getting attacked before having the scene where they're all at the shrine and Sho confesses to Mio. Because it looked like such a natural reaction that Shinpei had, even though it was just a shadow version of him. It was super natural. It was really good. So I don't know. I just wonder how they're going to tie it in. I just wonder who else is a shadow now, and like I'm just like, what else will freaking happen? Who's really the ones that they can trust? Can they trust even the freaking? Never mind. They most definitely can probably trust Mio's dad. I think. I don't know. I just wonder who else. And will the shadows adapt their strategy as well? Will the freaking shadows try to mess with the cop again, just like he gain access to a freaking revolver. Because I mean, the cop had a girlfriend during the festival, so I wonder if they're gonna like use her or something. I don't know, but that's about it for this episode. I can't really think about anything else to talk about. Just give us anime update. I'm trying to do like RPG Maker a little bit. I don't know. Making a map is hard. That looks nice, but I'm trying to do like a jungle island sort of thing with an invading force, and they're like uncovering a shrine or a temple that was ruined and is now kind of inhabited by elves. I don't know. I haven't even really created the story yet. I'm still writing it. But yeah, that's about it. And see ya.